time where the movie started, facing at a photo they've taken. Space tree flying through the skies and battles happen everywhere.
Thanks for joining me, action figure collectors. Here we have Marvel's 80 years anniversary Wolverine and Hulk. So I personally didn't get this set when it first came out because I honestly wasn't too enthused about the Hulk. I'm sorry, not the Hulk. I wasn't very enthused about getting another Wolverine, nor did I really like the way that this Wolverine's kind of turned out. And I finally ended up succumbing and getting it because I saw that a lot of different other reviewers love this Green Hulk, and I honestly was able to get this guy on sale. So I got this guy on sale last week at GameStop when they were having their 20% off sale. Plus I had a $5 promotion off because I got sucked into that whatever subscription thing that they had at GameStop. So you can see I got about $16 worth of savings. So I got this guy for about 46.63. So I guess he's originally 60 bucks, even at GameStop. So that being said, why don't we take a look at him? So this set of figures comes in this box here, which I will show you. So it's got a nice comic book page here, and you can read their bios in whatever language you want. There's the Hulk, and that's the side art right there for Wolverine, and you can see the side art right here for the Hulk. This was the front of the package. You can see the package insert is in back of there in that little bio display. These figures both come with alternate hands. Unfortunately, with the Wolverine, it's just a set of closed fist hands, which I would prefer some probably open hands, just because he already has these claws. If I want a fist, I could just pop out those claws. And by the way, my claws were all jacked up when I took them out, so I had to actually take out all the claws and kind of arrange them back in the holes so that they weren't so messed up. In any case, those are Wolvie's claws. The Hulk has a set of open hands and a set of fisted hands, and he comes with one of those each on from the start. So why don't we get into some of these figures here? Why don't we go over this Wolverine figure, since he is the not as good figure. Some people may love or really wanted this figure because, you know, they didn't really have one of this first appearance Wolverine. I had the Astonishing Wolverine back from Marvel. I'm sorry, from Toy Biz. Let me see if I can pull them up real quick for you guys. And so I do have him here. You know, he's not the same, but he comes closest to having that small eared appearance. I still really like this Wolverine. It's just, he's really small compared to probably what he should be, because he just looks like a thin character. That being said, you know, paint and whatnot, probably done a lot better on this Toy Biz character. I think this one was, I forget where he came from. I think he was the Apocalypse Wave. If he wasn't, then he was probably I'm pretty sure he was the Apocalypse Wave. I don't think he was the Sentinel Wave. But in any case, he's the same Wolverine buck as what we've been getting from all these different Wolverines. So here he is in another tiger stripe outfit right here. And he might fall, so I'm just going to put this guy out. No, there we go. And this same buck is used with the the X-Force Wolverine. You can tell that the X-Force Wolverine has a different boots. So you can see these kind of comparisons. So if you have this Wolverine, you know what to expect in terms of the actual body and articulation. The hands or claws are just like the original Wolverine, not the X-Force Wolverine. So you can see what the claws look like right there. So it's these detachable ones. That's his face sculpt. There's no like hairs on his chin. There's no painted portions of his arms, although there's portions where his hair should have already been, or hair was sculpted, but they didn't paint. So very little paint on this figure. Everything is basically molded plastic except for the belt. Well, the belt is red, but there's some gold paint on the buckle. And then the boots are painted black, and then the black stripes on this yellow. So, and the little paint that's on his face. So, doesn't even have, well, neither did the old one. Doesn't have, I guess this is also painted. I think this, I think it was the glove that was painted blue, or skin painted blue right here for the glove. So, very little paint. This thing is just a different shoulder piece than the other Wolverine has, but works the exact same way. So, I don't think I'm going to go into articulation just because everyone should know by now what this guy can do. But, you know, he's got butterfly joints right there. But articulation is good. It's your basic stuff. So I don't think I'm going to waste any more time on his articulation because he's not even the more, he's not the interesting figure. And like I said, the reason why I didn't get this set initially is because I didn't want to pay $60 for both of them, when to me this figure really wasn't worth it. So let's just put this guy back here. Actually, screw this. Put this guy here. I'm going to put this Grey Hulk in the back here. So if you haven't watched my review on the Grey Hulk, go check him out. I still hold my opinion that the Grey Hulk is a much better figure, in my opinion, than this Green Hulk. I just think he's more interesting. I like the face more. But this is the definitive Hulk figure. He's big, he's green, he's heavy, he's the Hulk. And so he comes with the same stuff as Grey Hulk. He's got this white shirt with very soft, pliable plastic. And it's a nice little accent piece. I think it looks dope. And it really makes the figure look that much better. So you can see he looks good without it, but in my opinion he looks really awesome with it. So since he's got it, I don't know necessarily why I would not pose him with it. If you want to take a look at what he would look like with an orange shirt, here you go. But white looks better on him. In any case, so you can see this guy's head sculpt is pretty nice. I'm gonna just get a nice closer look at him. Go a little, not quite 360, but look at him all around. Got a nice, angry, mean, whatchamacallit, mean face that it's got going on. He's got several shades of green on him. Maybe hard to tell in this lighting, but there's some lighter green highlights on his boobage and stomach, and in the front of his arms. He's the exact same sculpt as this gray Hulk here, but you know, he looks great. But I just have so many Hulks and so little of the gray Hulk. I do have a first appearance Hulk, or I had a first appearance Hulk from Toy Biz. I just thought he looked so ugly looking that I just customized him and used him for something else. So let's go over his articulation real quick. His head is on a ball joint, so he can look up this much, look down that much, look side to side. It's got a little bit of attitude here, and it does go back a little bit. His shoulders will go all the way around. It goes up only about that much, so less than 90 degrees. And he's got these butterfly joints here that only go really in the back, really far back. You don't really need it to go this far back, and it actually looks kind of odd if you make both of them go that far back, but it does help with getting them in some nice poses. And you can just kind of make the angle look a little bit better. Maybe that's a little too far still. Wouldn't necessarily go that far back, but something like that looks really good. Doesn't have the butterfly portion here in the chest because I guess they wanted to make this sculpt look better, but it's still possible that they could have done it and it would have afforded him a greater range of motion, so that he could have gotten both arms together, so he could have done a clapping type pose, because you know, he has that clapping attack that he does, which would have been nice to be able to pose him as. But he's got a bicep swivel here. Because his biceps are so ginormous, his single jointed elbows doesn't allow him to bend even 90 degrees. He's got hands that twist and will flex and extend laterally. Same thing with the other arm. There's a diaphragm joint right here, so he can not really twist from there, but he can tilt maybe a little bit to the left there, a little to the right there. He can bend forward a little bit from there, but bend backward a lot right here. Let me just take that arm out of the way so you can kind of see it. So you can bend that far backwards and that far forward. He's got a waist twist, but it's kind of ugly if you twist him too much because he's a thick guy, so there's going to be a lot of overhang. And his hips, let's see, he can only kick forward very little, so a lot less than 90 degrees. In terms of splits, you can do some pretty decent splits, a lot better than my Spider-Man figures. And he's got a thigh swivel. He's got double jointed knees, but it's limited by the articulation, so you only get about 90 degrees, maybe a little bit more. And he's got forward pinford ankle rockers. You can flex that far forward and extend that far back. So I'm happy to get them for $46 after taxes for 2 figures. I think he's worth it. The pair's worth it. This guy's pretty heavy, a lot of plastic. So technically, I paid a lot less for this Hulk than I paid for that gray Hulk. And, whoops, sorry about that. So, I don't know. I really like them. Now that I'm playing with them more, I'm not sure which one I really like more. Like I said, the Gray Hulk is a lot more interesting to me, just because I don't have a Gray Hulk anymore until this one. The Gray Hulk looks almost more zombie-like to me. Like, you could probably make him into a Solomon Grundy if you wanted to. You just got to repaint him, and then you'd have to somehow make a coat for him. But his face reminds me of more of a Solomon Grundy. But yeah, I definitely like both figures, and at this price point, he was a must-have for me. So thanks for watching, everyone. Join me for more videos later on, and keep collecting. Thanks.